Move it, troopers! On the double! Fire!
Hello everybody, I'm BOOFIRE191, and today I've hijacked the Scoundrel's Cantina. As the title may suggest, I'm talking about Farrell, Darth Maul's other brother. Keeping with the tradition of naming their children with very on-the-nose names, Caecina gave birth to Farrell around 60 to 40 BBY. He was the blood brother of Savage Opress and Darth Maul. However, whether or not he was a full brother or half-brother is in question. For the Night Sisters, it is tradition for the mother to kill the father once a child is born, or at least when a male is born. The details for this are a bit uncertain. However, with this in mind, Caecina pleaded to Darth Sidious to take a young Maul in order to save one of her sons from being a Night brother. At this time, she had one other child, Savage Opress. This little bit of information helps determine whether or not Farrell had the same father as Maul and Savage. By the time Sidious takes Maul, his father was dead, and Farrell wasn't around. This makes me believe that Farrell was born later on to a different father. Considering Savage and Maul's force abilities, as well as the fact that they are force sensitive, their father must have contributed in a major way to his son's force sensitivity, considering the fact that Farrell wasn't. Most of Farrell's life is unknown, but a few assumptions can be made. He lived under the thumb of the Night Sisters and was treated no better than a slave. His life was miserable, but he had a strong relationship with his brother, Savage. However, Farrell had confidence in both himself and his brother. With Count Dooku's betrayal, Asajj searched for someone who she could use as an assassin to get revenge. Her search led her to the far side of Dathomir, to a settlement of Zabrak Night Brothers. Both Farrell and Savage were forced to participate in tests to prove their worth to Asajj. Tests that could and were fatal. Savage promised to protect Farrell, a promise he kept all the way through till the end. As the other Zabrak fell to Asajj's merciless assault, the only two who remained were Savage and Farrell. Clearly outmatched, Savage told his brother to run. He would be the one to face Asajj, and worse yet, he would be the one to serve her. He would give up his freedom so Farrell could retain what little he had. Powered by a love for his brother and a hatred for Asajj, Savage fought as hard as he could, but in the end, he lost. In the end, he became Asajj's pawn. Savage was taken back to the Night Sisters and turned into a monster. To prove his loyalty, as well as to prove whether or not the spell worked, the Night Sisters brought out Farrell and told Savage to kill him. After hearing the pleading of his brother, Savage snapped Farrell's neck with no remorse. And so the story of Farrell has come to an end. But wait, why is the video still going on? Why is there still time left in the video? Well guys, I don't like to just tell stories. Sometimes I like to explain in agonizing detail why a story or character matters. I'm sorry, Luke and Todd. Unto himself, Farrell is nothing but a plot device. He merely exists to move the story along. The guy's skin should have been red, because expendable is written all over him. However, due to being a plot device, Farrell serves another more intriguing use. He serves to expand upon an idea. He serves to expand upon our understanding on the nature of the Sith. The Jedi believe that attachment leads to emotion, which is correct, but they believe that emotion is inherently evil. It can and will lead to the dark side. They are, oddly enough, afraid of emotion. The Jedi can't handle or cope with emotions. They were raised by monks since infancy, so they try to control them. They see their emotions as weakness. The Jedi try to suppress what they feel instead of bring their problems into the light so they can be dealt with. The Sith, on the other hand, believe the opposite. Their emotions give them strength. Now, it should be noted that being a Sith does not mean you're evil, nor does it mean you follow the ways of the dark side. There is a distinction between the two. The Jedi and Sith follow codes that are opposites of one another, but that is because the two beliefs have very different goals in mind. The way of the Jedi calls for mastering one's emotions to find harmony within them, to achieve internal peace. The way of the Sith calls for embracing one's emotions, let them drive you in order to get the most of what you want out of life. The Jedi want internal harmony, where the Sith want external achievement. The problem the Sith run into, however, is the fact that power corrupts. If you can do anything, and no one can stop you, why shouldn't you do anything? So after prattling on about the nature of two fictional religions, I bet many of you are wondering where I'm going with this. I wanted to establish that being a Sith, or knowing its teachings, does not make you evil. You don't automatically fall to the dark side once you join the Sith. For all intents and purposes, within the universe that is Star Wars, an odd trend has emerged when it comes to the stories about the Sith. When a Sith lets go of attachment, when a Sith destroys the one thing that binds them to the rest of sentient life, that, right there, is when they fall to the dark side. In the case of Savage, the moment he is turned into a monster is not the point where he falls to the dark side. In a strange way, he is still the courageous warrior we saw prior to his transformation. We see a glimpse of the man he used to be. The moment he sees Asajj, he begins to choke the life out of her. This woman killed his people and almost killed his brother. He hates her. He hates that she tried to kill him. He hates he was forced to serve her. However, all of that fades away. The man he was disappears as he chokes the life out of the one person he cared for. This extends past Savage, however. In the case of Alec, or as he would be later known as, Darth Malik, he joined Revan in his crusade against the Mandalorians to protect the people of the galaxy, to protect those who couldn't protect themselves, to avenge the deaths of billions at the hands of the Mandalorians. The Jedi refused to enter the war. They would not let their emotions get the better of them. They would not be goaded into a fight. As the war drew to a close, both Revan and Alec chased the surviving Mandalorians down, ultimately coming into contact with Darth Vitiate and the Sith Empire. Both of the Jedi joined the Sith and returned to the galaxy to seek out the Starforge, a weapon Revan wished to use against the Emperor. With the Starforge in their grasp, Revan and Malik declared war upon the Republic as well as the Jedi in order to create a stronger, more unified galaxy, a galaxy that could challenge Vitiate. But when Malik turned on Revan, his best friend and mentor, he finally succumbed to the dark side and forgot the reason as to why they went to war in the first place. This extends past these two characters, however. Almost any Sith who fell fully to the temptation of the dark side did so after killing someone they were attached to. Darth Malgus killed his Twi'lek lover, resulting in him falling so far he wished to destroy both the Jedi and Sith, Republic and Empire. After thinking she killed her master in a fit of rage, Juhani embraced the dark side as she let her grief and self-hatred consume her. Even people such as Freeden Nad can be shown to have this pattern. After killing his master, Mata Tremaine, Nad renounced the Jedi Order and embraced the dark side. To highlight this even more, I want to take a dip into non-canon, non-Legends material that will never come true, which has arisen via choices made in video games. In Dark Forces Jedi Knight, if Kyle Katarn kills Jan Orso,
You picked the wrong house, fool!
he falls to the dark side and later becomes the new Emperor of the Imperial Remnant. Extending past this, there's Jedi Knight Jedi Academy. If Jaden kills his friend and rival Rosh, he too falls to the dark side. At this point, I'm just beating you over the head with what I'm trying to get across, but there is a bit more. In direct contrast to this, if a Sith holds on to their attachment, if they hold on to what makes them, they have a real chance of returning from the dark side. When Vader was redeemed by Luke, his son and only family he could possibly connect to, the only family that wouldn't hate him, considering the fact Vader tortured Leia and killed her family and destroyed her homeworld, I'd bet they wouldn't see eye to eye. With Luke though, Vader remembered what it meant to be human. He remembered why he became a Sith. He became one so he could use his emotions to save his wife and child, and ultimately this attachment brought him back. Bastila was redeemed by Revan, her lover, and the only person in her life that truly cared about her outside of her parents, and even then, her relationship with her parents was strained. She was tortured day in and day out after sacrificing herself to save the crew of the Ebon Hawk, to save Revan. In the end, she wasn't strong enough to endure, but when face to face with Revan, she couldn't kill him. Her love brought her back. Ula Keldroma fell to the dark side after joining a dark side cult known as the Krath, an action he took in order to infiltrate the group so he could avenge the death of his master, to bring his murderers to justice. In a cruel twist of fate, the Krath were able to corrupt Ula Keldroma, and eventually he joined Exar Kun in his war against the Jedi and Republic. However, and again, another odd twist, Ulik eventually killed his brother during this war. But after doing this, he felt so much grief over what he did. He loved his brother so much that he renounced his allegiance to the Sith. He came back. He may have killed his brother, but he didn't let go of his attachment. He didn't let go of the love he felt for him. Pharaoh may have been an insignificant character, but his death helps shed some light upon the nature of the Sith. If a Sith lets go of their attachment, if they let go of their emotions, what makes them, them, then they are driven by nothing except their desire for power. If a Jedi lets go of attachment, what makes them, them, then they are driven by nothing except their desire to achieve harmony, to achieve internal peace. One becomes a conqueror bent on domination, one becomes an apathetic observer who is willing to let billions die. But if both followers held on to their attachment, if they both stay who they are, then they rise to become something amazing. They become legends. I'd like to thank the Scoundrels Cantina for allowing me to put this up on their channel, but I'd also like to thank you guys for taking time out of your day to watch this. It's very appreciated. If you like this video and want others similar to it, head down to my channel BOOFIRE191. There I do Star Wars lore, analysis, stories, as well as a very wide variety of content. I won't lie, my channel's a bit schizophrenic. So again guys, I've been BOOFIRE191. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope I see you around. I'll see you guys all next time. Goodbye.
This party's over.